Hello everyone, welcome to Timeless Flux. My name is Sabine and today we're going to answer the question, what exactly is in the way of your spiritual growth right now? So this is a very important question and this reading is going to be very simple. I want you to think about a number from 1 to 5. All the options are going to be linked down below and you can skip to this part of this specific reading at any moment in time. I would like to say that if you've been observing synchronicities, like seeing lots of 555s, 444s, 222s, then this is a clear message about the option you should be watching, okay? But for those of you who are still with me, I want to contextualize a little bit on the cards we're going to use today, because they are all cards from the Timeless Flux Oracle. This is an oracle I've channeled myself one very special afternoon in the month of November 2019. I had been working with cards for a long time when this happened. I've read cards almost all of my life, oracle cards and tarot cards alike, and I just felt the need, I felt called to channel this oracle in a very impressive and fast way. I just had to buy creative paper and I just had to put pen to paper and see what messages, what drawings, what symbolism would come through. I simply had to do that. This oracle is divided into 5 different cycles. The first cycle, which is the cycle we're going to refer back to today, is the lightning bolt cycle or suit, okay? So talking about the lightning bolt, this imagery around the lightning bolt, it's talking about a very, very specific moment in our spiritual process in which it's very hard for us to just listen to our intuition, to have a straightforward, direct communication with spirit. It doesn't really matter what your beliefs are, if you're more in tune with your guardian angels, with entities, other entities, or if you just refer to spirit as a whole, or God, it doesn't really matter. But there are moments in our lives in which we feel like we're part of something bigger, and it's easier for us to have a higher perspective when it comes to our own lives, no matter how hard the situation is. And there are other moments, and these are the moments the suit is talking about, in which it's like we feel cut off from the energy of the universe. So it's very hard to differentiate between what are our thoughts and what is just background noise coming from past trauma and patterns, and what exactly is our intuition, okay? So because of that, the universe has a way of moving our energy around, because we're actually protected the whole time, but sometimes we're not listening, we're not in sync. And the way the universe does that is by sending these ideas, these feelings related to our body, related to how unsafe we feel, related to the way maybe we're overprotective of our talents, maybe not even feeling like we have the strength to share our talents with the world. These ideas, these intuitions, these notions, they come across in needle-like, very precise external facts, okay, or external influences. So this is what this suit's talking about, and this is what these narratives are referring to that you're about to watch. I thought this context could be important for some of you, because if you're here on this reading, then maybe it's being hard. It has become something to consider, to reflect upon, to meditate upon. This process, this whole process of thinking about blockages, impediments, what's in the way of your spiritual path and growth, okay? So with no further ado, let's move on to the reading of those of you who've chosen the number 1. And this reading is going to be around the card Cactus. Each card has a name, a sentence, and a visual representation. So in this visual representation here, what we see is a cactus that has changed its shape completely. It looks a little bit deformed, but I don't mean that in a negative way. What I mean is whatever external facade, this thicker skin that needed to be developed here, it became exuberant. Because when you look at this representation of a cactus, it is exuberant. It is organizing and moving around in order to protect its water, protect its moisture from the blazing sun. Okay, so what you see here is an entity that had to change its shape in order to protect its innermost values. All of its talents, represented by the water, in this case, the water inside a cactus, all of its talents, all of its skills, everything that is considered the most valuable for this entity is being protected by a thick outer skin. And this thick outer skin is beautiful in itself, and it's important to observe that. So when it comes to your moment in the spiritual path, what I see is that you probably feel like you need to overprotect whatever is important to you in the most immaterial sense, okay? The most subjective sense. You need to protect not only your talents and skills, as I said, but you need to protect your emotions. You need to protect your memories. You need to protect whatever image you have of yourself. And that's why, since the external conditions are not the most fruitful, are not the most welcoming, then you had to develop an external persona that's almost shy. So you could be a shy person to start with. You could have been a shy person for your whole life, but this is talking about a very specific moment. It doesn't have to be your main characteristic to be shy or to be reserved, but this is how you're feeling right now. Your outer skin is kind of protecting you from hurts that are not necessarily there anymore. And why do I say that they're not necessarily there anymore? Because remember I told you that the cactus is exuberant. It's not a normal it's not your everyday cactus shape, okay? It's really beautiful to see the ways in which these arms have moved and reorganized in order to protect the water within them, like kind of almost chasing spaces in between the rays of the sun, okay? So this is all about a moment in which, okay, you had to take this strategy, you had to protect yourself, but now you've become something that is mighty, that is very powerful, because you could actually adapt to the difficult environment you were faced with. Okay, so it's all about recognizing that between you and your spiritual growth, what the blockage is really an idea, a belief that the environment is not yet safe, or that you're not protected. This card is talking about being able to show and share your talents to the world and with the world by making these little experiments that are now allowed by the shape that you have configured to live in this world. So putting it into more straightforward, less metaphorical terms, this is talking about situations in which you have, for example, if you're an actor, you might have tried and went for it in a very abrasive way, or maybe too fast, and then you've tried starting with roles that really represent a challenge to you. So your external environment was very clear about that in the form of criticism, and then you locked yourself in and started working your way out of showing the world that you really didn't care, showing the world that you had more to give, maybe practicing with different areas because acting became this burden, this unsafe place to you, to a way out of your comfort zone. And now it's the time to go back to your original passion. Make it fit your situation and apply to any passion you have in your life. This could also represent huge trauma. You really experienced a situation in which you had a lot to lose, and for most of you, you actually lost what you were investing on. And then this could even talk about death in some cases, the death of a close close relative or friend. But most of all, it talks about a situation that left its mark in a way that made you feel it is no longer safe to be yourself around other people. But what's interesting here is the strategy. You created this armor-like personality that really prevents you from being yourself or even from being with other people, okay? So what this card's talking about is the process in which you realize that whatever you've done to protect yourself is no longer necessary and has actually taught you how to defend yourself whenever a truly specific, very challenging situation comes around again. It's about having the courage of understanding that whatever you faced was necessary, that at first it was very good for you to protect your values, your innocence even, and your talents, but right now you can share a little bit more with the world, okay? So if you look at this image, at this imagery again, you see that this cactus in particular, it is not in a position of abundance, okay? Any abundance it may find is internal abundance. Sorry. And because of that, I see that for most of you, it is very hard to find support in your environment. But another message from this card is your abundance is within and you have learned how to protect it. So you can make these small experiments of sharing your gifts with the world because you can trust yourself that now you know how to protect them. This is also talking about narratives like children who really don't know what to expect from a situation, and then they get really hurt when the response they were expecting is not exactly the response they were given, okay? So sometimes it's hard for them to put themselves in a situation where they were exposed once again. And it can even talk about situations like being robbed, okay? Do not take it with a grain of salt. But I don't know, being mugged at a certain street and never wanting to go to that street again or anything like that. And then this is the moment in which you have to go to that street and you have to understand that because you've lived this experience of having to protect yourself, now you know better. You know the parts of the street where you cannot go. You know how to protect yourself. You know how to ask for help. You observe where maybe there's a darker place and you don't go there, and you have a strategy in your head over how could I escape if someone actually tried to mug me again. Okay, you're wiser, but whatever is inside of you needs to go out. And each card also has a sentence. I'm going to translate the sentence here for you since the oracle is in Portuguese. The sentence for cactus says, I show nothing. I keep everything within myself, or I keep everything to myself, okay? Meditate on this sentence because it can help you unblock your spiritual growth. there are two sides, two very important sides to this sentence that I've been trying to convey here. One side is that it's really important from time to time not to show all of your cards, and it's really important to take care of what's valuable to you, okay? The flip side goes, if I keep everything to myself and I protect every single thing without sharing these things, these talents, gifts with the world, then I become less energized, and it's not possible for me to potentialize any kind of gift that I have received or I have even learned throughout my life. Okay, so this moment is about balancing both of these acts and trusting yourself that you'll be wise enough to understand when to protect yourself and when to share with the world. A very good internal marker or internal sign that you can use, like a filter, is if you feel too scared because you're afraid of losing something. This is not necessarily a negative thing, but it will become negative once you feel like physical signs of distress. Okay, you can change and challenge, most of all, challenge your fear of going out and sharing everything that you need to offer to the world, okay, or you can offer to the world. But try to apply some self-care in the sense of, if I really physically feel that this is too much for me to be doing right now, then I can recoil and I can think about a smaller step to take. What is important is not to stop, not to become paralyzed. So maybe in the acting situation I was mentioning before, if you've tried, entering a certain kind of theatrical production, and it would require you to be seen and to work every day with other people, and it really scares you, but physically scares you, then maybe be comfortable with taking a smaller step, like recording a selfie test or a video from home with people that you already know. Be comfortable about the process of giving smaller steps, taking smaller steps, so that your energy can gain momentum and you can start seeing in practice that this shape you had assumed, this protective shape, also has its lessons, and that you can trust yourself. Whenever something that's really dangerous happens in your life, you will be able to take a step back and you will be able to protect yourself. Okay, this card's talking about small steps that are really important for you and that are really thought through and careful with how you feel and with the energy, the overall energy of your body right now. Okay, this is something that we feel. If it's too much for us to, I don't know, start drinking 3 liters of water every day, then it's not too much. Just start taking 2 glasses or 3 glasses of water, drinking 3 glasses of water every day. And if your problem is that you're dehydrated, it's better to drink 3 glasses of water than to have an impossible expectation or goal to achieve in the first week. Okay, you are the person who is going to know what is being called impossible in your mind right now, and it depends on why you have grown this thick skin. Why is it that you've changed shape in order to accommodate the dangers of the world outside? But you need to carefully break this skin. You need to carefully test your waters without being violent to yourself. Okay, so I hope this message has helped. If you liked it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it helps my work here very much, especially your comments. I really like to know when something resonates or not, and your stories if you want to share them. Okay, now I'm moving to the reading for option number 2. So if you've felt called to follow number 2, then this is your reading. And the card I have for you is the eye that's being cried out. This is very beautiful. So you see, this is not only a woman crying, but this is a woman whose eye is actually being cried, okay? Part of her eye is dropping here with her tears, okay? And there's even a little boat floating here, okay? So this card talks about a moment in our spiritual process in which our emotions have been repressed, okay? I see this process as emotions are being kept inside yourself, and it's like you may face some problems, you may have some kind of prejudice when it comes to the emotions that you're going to select to show to the world. So a lot of us have been brought up with feelings of shame and guilt over certain specific, very basic emotions. I was, for example, raised up with a lot of anger around me, but without any possible or available to me as a child method of showing my anger, of expressing my anger. In later years in my life, I've learned how to channel this anger to the construction of creative projects, okay? But this was a very hard process. I don't know which kind of emotion you're actually repressing right now, but it's common to us humans to have some emotions that are harder for us to process, that are harder for us to express, or even considered to be taboo emotions, okay? So this can have a very broad range from sexual feelings, from the libido in general, expressing our libido, but it's normally related to the basic emotions like sadness, anger, and of course it's associated with feelings of blame and guilt. Okay, so important things about this moment in the process. When your eye is being cried out, it means that you can no longer repress these emotions. So you might be experiencing moments in which you simply burst out in anger and you're simply yelling and you can't even recognize yourself when these episodes occur, okay? It's like you're the calmest of people and then you turn into this Tasmania-like person, okay? Very aggressive, and of course you feel shameful about it, you feel the guilt involved, but it's something that you simply cannot stop. You might be crying a lot, and if you're really worried about your image, your external image, then you might be crying on your bedroom. But you're having these episodes, this fits. I don't like this word. I'm not going to use this word in this video again, but it's like you're having these episodes, these moments in which very basic, very raw emotions just take control of your mind and take control of your bodily expression. Maybe people around you can't understand what's happening, but most importantly, you cannot understand what's happening, okay? So if you skip the introduction, I was saying that all of the cards in this suit, the lightning bolt suit, they talk about moments in which the universe is trying to communicate with us because we are unable to hear, we are unable to listen to the signs, okay? And in your case specifically, what's between you and the universal flow are repressed emotions. So what the universe is trying to do right now to protect you and to have you, you know, it's a way of saying, keep on going, keep on going. We are going to remove these blockages, even if you don't want them removed. The way they're trying to do that is by this emotional rupture that happens from time to time. Is their way. That's why you feel like this is not on you exactly. Of course, other people may witness, unfortunately, your rage attacks, okay, and they might feel, okay, this person is completely losing it. And I'm not saying that psychological any kind of psychological feedback from a professional is irrelevant. This is not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that here you have the hands of the universe actually manifesting in the way you express your emotions. And you know, they're putting their feet there and saying, no, this is going to burst, this is going to explode. You are no longer going to repress these feelings. Because this is a way, since you're out of touch with your own intuition right now, this is a way of having, you know, you have to deal with these emotions that have been repressed for so long. It is a way of putting them right in your face and saying, okay, if you don't deal with this anger, if you don't analyze where this anger is coming from, and if you don't experience that, then we are going to, you know, mess up with your control system. You'll no longer be able to put up a facade. You'll no longer be able to just go through life as an emotionless, exaggerating a little bit, an emotionless being, okay? These emotions that have been repressed, they are even preventing your experience of being in the now, being in the present moment. So there's kind of a, you know, they are accumulating patterns there, because it's like you could be experiencing very happy things in your life, or things that would normally bring you a lot of happiness, but because you have this anger and you have this sorrow from the past still hanging out in the same context as you are, you really cannot express, you really cannot feel all of the happiness involved in certain moments in your life. It's like you could be 100% happy, but now you're being 80% happy with sorrow, okay, with 80% happy and 20% sorrowful. This talks a lot about melancholic behavior in which you know that you should, well, should is a harsh word, but you know that understanding your personality, your likes and dislikes, this has everything to do to be a very beautiful moment in your life. You would be feeling very happy and very productive. Everything is okay. But then there's this shadow of an emotion, and this is a past repressed emotion you still have not dealt with. So the universe is shaking your life up and your emotional patterns up and saying, okay, go cry. I don't know, have your episodes of rage. Okay, do whatever you need to do in order to experience this old, almost moldy emotional patterns. Take from this emotional well, like clean this emotional well, because you need to move forward. And so the best way of answering the question, what's in the way of your emotional growth? Your spiritual growth is emotional growth. Old emotions needs to be dealt with, needs to be experienced to the fullest, because sometimes when we say we need to deal with the emotions, we start rationalizing. We believe that it's all about rationalizing. This is not about rationalizing. This is about leaving these emotions. This is about being open enough and being just like innocent enough, exposed enough, being vulnerable enough. This was the word I was looking for. That you can actually sit down and cry for 2 hours because you know that a certain problem in the past well, its grief process is not complete. You never gave a chance to your own emotional system to deal with it in a way it needed to be dealt with. Okay, so this might be painful. This might be something that you resist doing a lot, but it's what the universe is asking of you right now. And each card has imagery and a sentence. This sentence goes, I am spilled over like the ocean. Okay, so it's like this ocean of emotions is spilling right out of you. You have no control over that. If you didn't understand what was going on, then this is why you're here. You have no control over that, and you just need to, take a deep breath and understand that these emotions needed to come forward. Otherwise, you would be blocked for the rest of your life. This is actually a spiritual gift. This is actually the way Spirit has right now, due to the many feelings you have repressed, of protecting you. They are protecting you by helping you clean past emotions. Okay? So I hope this reading has helped, and I wish you all of the good luck. If you like the reading, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it helps my work here like you would not believe. And I love to hear your comments. So if you want to comment on the experience of this reading, which is a little bit different, and if you want to tell me if it resonated or not, I would love to know. Okay? Thank you very much. And now, if you have selected the number 3, then this is your card. The body of the Queen. The body of the Queen. So if you see, well, if you're seeing here in this imagery, we have a woman, a self-crowned woman, it's important to say. And because she is self-crowned, her whole body multiplies. Because she knows her true royal nature, she knows that she's regal. She knows how to assume this posture of being a very elegant, but not in the sense of respecting any beauty standards. It's not about that, but elegant in the sense that she can flow with her body, and it is a woman here. There's a reason for that. That she can flow with her body, and she can understand how to use each of her limbs, each of her organs. She is very in the present, and she's very grounded. Then there comes this elegance that is all about flowing with what your body can actually do, not judging your body about anything, any of these so-called flaws, okay, his so-called flaws. And it's all about being very in touch, extremely in touch with the physical level of your existence. Because of that, and because she's self-crowned, then we see that this woman, her arms are multiplied, and it's from this rooting, from this grounding, that she can achieve many different possibilities in her life. She can truly understand, picture this, she can truly understand how her arms work, because she knows she's no longer comparing her arms to other people's arms. She's no longer thinking about how short they are, how long they are, how inarticulate they are. And then she knows, because she's not spending any kind of energy in comparison, and even comparison with one's own subjective standards, beauty standards, utility standards for a body, because she's no longer doing that. Then she can focus straightly on what her arms are and how they function. She can become amazed with each part of her body, like babies are. If you are a mother or father, if you have any kind of experience with children, especially observing babies, you see that in the first months, it's like they look at their hands and it's this miracle. It's like they're looking at a miracle. They're learning everything about their hands, and if they didn't do that, they wouldn't be able to use them. They wouldn't be able to even imagine ways of using them, because they're not yet in the linguistic realm. Okay, so they're not yet tuned into language. The language they know is the language of their own bodies. This woman, she's coming back to this very original state of acting like a baby when it comes to her body. Not that she has lost any of her abilities acquired over the years, but she has recovered the innocence of understanding each part of her body and the body as a whole, as a miracle, and as a very specific miracle. I can give some examples. I said that it was important that this representation here is a woman, not because when we talk about the spiritual path, we're not talking about a dualistic view on like masculine and feminine, even if the tarot uses this dualistic view a lot. But in this oracle in particular, it's important that she is a woman, because this card is talking about developing and discovering your body in terms of sensorial perspectives. Okay, so it's all about being in your body, and in this sense, the body becomes a womb from which a new child is going to be born. It's like your whole body has become this womb from which your experience with the world is going to be born. I don't know if you had this feeling in your life, but I have, and it's an amazing feeling that we cannot normally focus on or keep for a lot of time, but it's really inspirational. So this woman, she's becoming her own womb. Her body is becoming what's necessary to produce her experience on earth. That's why the whole womb imagery is why this card has a female representation. Okay, and it also talks about something which is a little bit when time loses a little bit of its logic, its regular logic, linear logic, because this woman is able to see how she would like her body to look like, how she would like her body to be like, and anticipates the feeling of inhabiting this body. So I'm going to give you one of my examples, but make it fit your situation. For the longest of times, I considered that my body needed to change, not because I wanted to be thinner or I wanted to be, I don't know, I wanted to be, I wanted my hair to grow in a different way. Sorry, nothing like that. I just knew that I wanted to have a little bit more control of how my body expressed in the world, and I could see this different version of myself, this woman I wanted to be in front of me. I knew that I was not yet in that place, in that position, in that level of expression, but from time to time I could see this representation and I could inhabit this representation, this projection that I was making for my future. And now I feel like I'm very close to ending the cycle and very close to the kind of woman I wanted to be. I'm not talking about external representations in the sense of how I want other people to see me, but I'm talking about the way I wanted to feel inside my own body. Okay, I come from a very traumatic experience in which as a child I felt I didn't like the way my body felt. I didn't feel comfortable within my own body. And there are certain moments in which you start thinking, first you start thinking, I would like to feel more comfortable about my body. And then you realize that this is not coming from your everyday piece of advice on health. Health is a different issue, or maybe this is a very specific kind of health issue. I don't know. And you realize that this is not going to come from your beauty standard propositions. This is not going to come from the advice of other people. This is going to come from being aware that you can actually feel good inside your body. And then the rest is intuition. What kind of activity, if it's yoga, if it's dancing, if it's doing nothing but writing, what kind of activity, what kind of practical implementation you can have in your life in order to one day achieve this body. But what's important about this card is that this woman can actually preview or pre-feel how it's going to be to inhabit the body she would like to inhabit. This is really precious, because once you have the feeling, not only the thinking I should be different or I want it to be different, but also the feeling of this body you don't have yet, then you can actually build the steps towards this this specific representation, this specific body you're trying to build. Okay, every card here has a sentence, and the sentence says, I was more than I am, and today I feel it. I was more than I am, and today I'm able to feel it. Because this sentence to me is amazing, because it says that whenever you have a projection on how you wanted your body to be, and this projection comes in such an intense experience, it's like you feel your projection as if it were a memory. Okay, because of course your body is not yet there the way you'd like it to be or to express, but you can feel how it would be to inhabit this body almost as if it were a memory. Okay, and that's what gives you the power to overcome your current situation, because you actually feel like you already had the experience of achieving your goal in a physical sense. It's going to make you even, it's like reaching some kind of synchrony with being in sync with what you want to be, and it's kind of approximating your energy right now to the energy of the person you would like to be, or even better saying, the body you would like to have. Okay, this is deep stuff. So answering the question, what exactly is in the way of my spiritual growth? The relationship with your body, especially when it comes to understanding that dealing with your body is not dealing with other people's opinions about your body, is not dealing with external views on beauty standards, health standards, etc. It's actually projecting the kind of body you would like to have. How would you feel if you felt comfortable in your body? And understanding that once you have this feeling, your possibilities of action in the world multiply. But this is a very basic question. Every one of us has to deal with it, and if we don't, then our spiritual growth and our growth in life in general is going to be hindered. Okay, so I hope this message has helped. If you liked it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it helps my work here like you would not imagine. I really hope that you find your body, you find your future body, you feel like you're already inside of it, so that you can muster the strength to start this path of actually matching the vision you had, the feeling you were anticipating, and your body's physical structure. Okay? Thank you very much. Now I'm moving on to those of you who've chosen the number 4. If you've chosen the number 4, then this is your card, and it's called the Serpent Road. Okay? So something interesting about this card, it's that this road, of course, you have already probably noticed that it ends with a serpent tongue that I find amusing here. Okay, it gradually becomes serpent-like. If you take a broad perspective, a higher perspective on this situation here, you see that it's a snake. Okay, but once you come closer, the road gradually turns into a snake, and the snake here is representing danger or a false end. A false means to an end, okay? But it's more gradual than we can see if we look at this card at a greater distance, okay? Because it starts like a very human-like road with a house over here, crosswalk over here, and then this lamp post, okay? And then its markings start to show, and its shape changes completely to end up in this tongue over here. So this card is talking about something, some process in your life that it's a serpent road, in the sense that it ends in a situation that is not very positive for you, that could be actually hindering you, not only in terms of spiritual growth, but in a very pragmatic, very concrete way in your life. You know that this situation is not for you, okay? But you stay there because there's something about its patterns. That's why I'm mentioning the human-like patterns. That's something about the appearance of the situation, the way it organizes, the people involved, that is really a part of your comfort zone. So this is a test of faith. This card is all about a test of faith, and the first very powerful step and test of trusting yourself, because it talks about something you already know it's not for you. It talks about something you already know is going to bring you to a negative situation, or maybe it's going to drain your energy, or maybe even have you taking steps back, and not only impeding, preventing you from proceeding in your spiritual growth, but also having you give some steps back, okay, like in a game of life or Monopoly, okay? You already know that, but there's something about the situation that really sounds or look like what everybody's doing, it seems common sense. So your intuition is telling you that this is not for you. You probably even know how to explain why it wouldn't be for you. This situation is not for you. But it's hard to leave it behind because it looks like what everyone else is doing, okay? I'm going to give an example. It could be something like everybody, or not everybody, but most of the people consider it to be a normal activity in everyone's life to have a 9-to-5 job. And 9-to-5 jobs seem to be understood, this is what people say, as safer than freelancing, for example. We know some way in the back of our heads, we know that we could even be dismissed, we could be fired at any given moment, and even more drastic things, we could have some kind of physical impediment, disease that would enable us to continue to perform whatever function we perform at this 9-to-5 job, and then we would be, we would have to leave it. But even if we know that, there's kind of a common sense attitude towards the whole thing that says 9-to-5 jobs are more are safer, are more stable than freelancing. Okay. Okay, this is just an example. So let's say that you have a 9 to 5 job and it's contrary to everything that you want to do in your life, and it's even requiring you to be a kind of person that you don't agree with, you don't match with, is completely out of your energy, and you know that. So the serpent road here would be talking about that place in our lives in which we say, okay, I know this is not for me. I know a 9 to 5 job is not for me. I know I'm not in tune with whatever I'm doing here. And maybe even ethically, this is complicated when I think about my values. But this is what everybody else is doing. This is common sense. So maybe it's not that bad. Okay, it's this kind of attitude. So whatever is hindering your spiritual growth right now has this kind of connotation attached to it. It's something that seems to be normal enough, and normal is preventing you from taking action on what you already know, that this path is not for you. Each card I'm reading here has imagery and a sentence. And the sentence in this card goes, is it a path or escape route? You know and you don't believe. Is it a path or escape route? You know and you don't believe. This sentence actually is one of the only sentences in the whole oracle that adds to the meaning of the serpent road, because this meaning of following a false path because it looks good on paper or because it's common sense, it's quite easy to understand. But when the sentence adds, is it a path or escape route? You know and you don't believe, then it adds to the information that you're actually doing that because you're true afraid of your destiny, because you're trying to escape your destiny. Okay, so this is a very important piece of information here. Why is it that you would keep on doing something just because everybody else says that it's okay? Sometimes we do that because we're afraid of other people. In this case, we're doing that because we are afraid of ourselves. The problem is not the serpent road. The problem is not whatever you're dedicating to, that it doesn't have your number on it. It's not for you. It's not to your best self. It's not your advantage, to your advantage. Okay, the problem is that you already know if you left this option, you would need to follow a certain dream. You would need to become a certain kind of person. And it's not even about whether people are going to approve this person or not. It's about the kind of stage fright we have, or how frightened we are of trying to, when we know that, okay, if I stop following the false paths, I would have to follow my actual true path. It's also a little bit protective in the sense of, let's materialize that into very concrete examples, make it fit your situation, but just to make it easier, let's say that you know you're an actor. Okay, I'm giving lots of actor examples right now. I don't know if many of you are actors that are going to watch this video are actors, but let's say that you're an actor. And then right now you're working at a bank. You know, this is not related to your calling in life, and maybe some of the activities you have to dedicate to in this bank are actually preventing you from being more creative or from taking a more creative stance on life, that even if you even if you're not following a theatrical career or a movies career or anything like that, at least in some other professions you could be a little bit more creative, and you could act out your gift of acting. Okay, we know that in certain occupations people feel as actors and artists, and in the end almost all of the occupations involve some kind of artistry and creativity. But you know that specifically at this bank where you're working for, you're not able to use your skills. And not only that, they're preventing you from from using your skills, from sharing your gifts with the world. Okay, so it's like you're thinking, okay, but if I leave this job, I will have to become an actor. And because you would have to become an actor, then if you stay in this situation that's not meant for you, you've never tested your gifts, so it's kind of a comfort zone. And if you have to actually test your gifts, then you have to face a lot of very common fears among us humans, like, am I good enough? Am I really talented? Sometimes we disguise these feelings as concerns about money, but in your case, this is not the main concern. The main concern is, it's like you're keeping your talents to yourself untested, and then you started doing something completely different, maybe even saying to yourself that that there's something about this job that could also be considered as acting. In this example I'm giving here, your true fear is of taking the first step on what you're actually here to do. And it's an interesting situation, because you wouldn't necessarily even have to leave the bank to start acting somewhere. You could join, a community theater group, or create your own group. But it's like this false path has become an impediment. Okay, so it's all about the sentence and the imagery together in a way that doesn't show in other cards. Is it a path or escape route? You know, but you don't believe. And it's a test of faith. You need to believe in yourself enough to say, okay, I already know that this path is not for me. I know that I'm scared of taking the first steps towards the direction I really want to follow, but I'm going to give it anyway. Because if I feel so strongly about certain talents, a certain gift, a certain area, or even a certain very specific punctual action, then I should do it. This could be applied to romantic life also. Like, that there's a certain person you need to experiment having a relationship with, but you didn't say anything, or you didn't move towards making your feelings available to the other person, known by the other person. So it's escape route when you think, okay, I already have everything that I need, even if my love life is not dealt with. It's escape mechanism. But what's more important is that you keep yourself in this situation because you're afraid of what might actually happen once you started giving a chance to expressing your feelings. It's not even about the other person. It's not even about the other path. It's about how afraid you feel. Okay, so what's in the way of your spiritual growth right now is having the courage to take this very first step in the direction you want your life to be representative of. Okay, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you really feel, you truly feel like is your calling. Okay, and this calling could be a mission in the sense of an occupation or a project you want to build. Sorry, these are my cats. This could be many different things, but it could also be related to expanding your love life, investing in a relationship. Calling is a name that a lot of people associate with the workplace or spiritual practices, maybe if you're a medium or something like that. But it could also, calling could come also in the sense of, this relationship is calling to me, so make it fit your situation. Okay, so I hope this reading has helped. If you liked it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it helps my work here very, very much. And I always love reading your comments. Okay, I'm seeing that people are starting to comment on the videos, and it makes me really happy to know if the messages resonated or not. And also feel free to tell your stories, because I would love to hear them, and I will do my best to answer to all of you. Okay, so I am moving now to the next reading, the last reading. If you've chosen the number 5, then, and it's very appropriate, then this is your card. It's the cloak card. I'm saying that it's very appropriate because there are a lot of different connections between the number 5, the cloak card. If you think about the tarot, for example, then the tarot, the number 5 in the major arcana is the Hierophant. and it's all about connection with higher realms of existence, and being protected by traditional teachings, traditional knowledge too. And the cloak card in the Timeless Flux Oracle is talking about that too, but in a very specific, with a very specific tone to it, and under a very specific scope. This is talking about a moment in which you start feeling that you're actually protected in everything that you do in life. It is true that we are always protected, and sometimes I have felt that. Sometimes we feel like the universe does not have our back. Sometimes we feel like the universe is against us. Even this is one of the manifestations of a very known and raw emotion called rage, anger. Okay, but no matter how we feel, no matter how we experience this connection with the divine in our 3D reality, our physical bodies, the truth of the matter is that we are always protected. We are part of a bigger plan. You may have seen other people or other tarot readers saying that, and I truly believe in that when I say it. We are not separate from spirit, separate from whatever manifestation we believe in. We are a part of this 5D reality, of this spiritual realm. We are a way the universe has of experiencing itself. We came from it. It's strange to use the verb came, because it's really timeless when we put it in this perspective. Out of our bodies, we have no experience of time whatsoever, but then when we come to these bodies, everything becomes more linear and more time-based, etc., because of the life of the bodies themselves. But using our language, which is the only language we have available, it's like we came from spirit, and we are a part of spirit. And we are the only way through which the universe can grow and expand, because when we come here and we enter these bodies, then we have the opportunity of manifesting in this 3D world many different waves of creation that spirit as an entity, as someone, words are not really, human words are not really good to try to explain that, but spirit as a bodiless entity, let's say, would never be able to create that much. It would never be able to expand. And think about the entities, the bodily entities, not only as humans, but also animals, rocks, the crystals we love so much and we use so much in this channel and other tarot channels. They're all entities that grow. Even crystals, rocks are growing, minerals are growing. I don't know if you've learned at school that minerals did not grow and they were not living beings, but this has been questioned over the past few years. And if you work with crystals directly, you see them as live beings. Okay, so you have to ask permission of them in order to infuse your energy, work with their energy, and work with this exchange in energies. Okay, so why am I saying all of that? Because this is the reality of spiritual existence, but a lot of times we do not feel that we are protected, because the 3D experience imposes itself on us as if we were not the creators of our own 3D reality. Okay, so this card is talking about a moment in life in which you feel a cloak of protection. This is a very physical sensation. You actually feel like you have received some sort of protection. It's not always going to be a cloak. Sometimes people, because of it depends on how you visualize it, how you've been even taught to visualize it. But some people see a field of purple light, or maybe even, I don't know, a dome of purple glass, purple light, dome like protection and light, I usually see it as a cloak that's being put by a higher energy and an entity that cares for me, a cloak that's covering me, okay, that's being put on my shoulders here. You can really have many different ways of representing it in human terms, but it's like you're feeling that you're protected, physically protected. You're feeling that you're protected in a physical stance, okay? It's just like someone came and put a cloak of protection over you. Why is this important in the path of spiritual growth? Because it's the very first step of a true confidence that it's going to be possible for you to have a direct communication with spirit, with another realm of existence. If you don't believe that the universe is playing on your favor, on your side, on your team, if you don't believe that you're being protected, if you don't believe that life is with you, not against you, and that it is important for you to flow through it, then it's going to be very hard for you to explore different levels of communication with spirit, okay? So there are two possibilities here if you've chosen this option. You're starting to feel this protection, but it's still very hard for you to grasp or to explain. You're kind of questioning it, like, okay, I just like to feel that way, but I don't know if it's really logical or if it's even possible. Then you came to this reading for me to tell you that it is possible, and that you don't have to explain a thing. You just have to, surf the feeling, because this feeling is going to open up the doors for further spiritual growth, okay? The other thing is, you don't know that you're protected. You don't know that it's very hard for you to experience this kind of physically bound protection that comes from another realm, okay, from a higher realm. So if this is your case, what I could tell you is that it's important to start here with the mind. It's important to start taking notes on everything that's been blocking your way, or all of the beliefs you have on how the universe works against you, or how, life is unfair, and then write down all of these beliefs and try to start visualizing here or creating here different patterns of thinking, even if you cannot feel it yet. Because since the universe is actually working on your favor, even if you don't believe in that, if you start writing down the negative beliefs you have in this respect, to this respect, and you start converting them into positive affirmations, like you believe the universe is against me, and you write something like, the universe always has my back, then it's going to be easier for you to receive the influences that spirit, the universe, is actually trying to bring to make your life easier, okay? And then maybe one day you reach the point of having this feeling of being always protected by a cloak of wisdom, a cloak of light, a dome, whatever representation you prefer. Each card in this oracle has a sentence, and the sentence for the cloak card goes, I am protected, I feel it, and I do not have to see. Okay? So I love this sentence. I am protected, I feel it, so I do not have to see, and I do not have to see. It's all about coming to a point in your life in which you have the feeling, the physical experience of being protected. It doesn't mean that you're going to feel like that all the time, as I've said before, but even if you had experience once in your life, then you can try to come back in sync with the feeling, so that in your worst moments, it's still there. I can tell you that for me, I really believe that I'm protected, but sometimes I believe here and I don't feel if the situation is too bad and too materially bound, and I'm really going through a hard path in life, then I will not be able to feel it. in my body. I just know that it's true, but it's not an actual feeling. And because I had this feeling before, it's easier for me to come back to a place of balance once I kind of reach out to my sensory memories, okay? And I try to get in sync with this feeling of being protected, because I have a memory, I have a physical memory of how it felt. It's easier for me to walk the emotional path necessary to get back there, to get back to where I were feeling protected. And it's because I have this memory, I will also not stop until the moment in which I can feel protected again, okay? But maybe you never had this experience. I think that most of us had. Then in this case, it's about deconstructing the beliefs, the mental beliefs, the mind beliefs that are between you and the possibility of this experience of being protected, okay? And this is a very important step. No matter where you are right now, this is spiritual work. You have to work on it. But you can work and you can rest assured that you are protected no matter where you are right now. They're trying to come through. They're trying to make your life easier, etc., even if you don't believe in that right now. So it's all about working this belief into a physical reality, okay? So I hope this message has helped. If you like it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it helps my work very much, like you would not believe. And I hope that you can find this feeling, this physical feeling of protection soon enough. Okay? So that's it, you guys. Bye-bye, and I'll see you in the next video.